Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the FPL show. We are here ready for another week of FPL goodness. Game week 4. We are live on Twitch. Can somebody in the chat get the link there as well? Get the socials up. But we are live over on my current channel at the moment, Paulie29. So if you do want to find out what's going on and be involved in the live shows, make sure you're in the Discord. That's the key, because that's where we are all, the three of us in there, plus the majority of us as well. So let's get amongst it. We've seen a few new faces this week, haven't we, as well, pop up in the stadium, and I think maybe some of it's reflective of the FPL stuff we've been doing, which is nice to see. But boys, how we going?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm all right. Dom, how are you?
Good, feeling good.
It's been a big week, I think, since we last did our episode with regards to FPL. Lots happened. Yeah, there's been a lot of games. And I think the big one to start with is we've spoken a lot about 1.8 million midfield. I don't want to spend too long on this. James Maddison came out in the presser this morning or overnight that he's picked up a little knock in training, and that's someone we've been talking about for quite a bit of time to potentially go sideways into. And obviously him missing the Chelsea game. What are our general thoughts? For me, I feel like that's just a little green tick in the Chelsea defence column, but what are your guys' take on that?
I agree with that it makes the Chelsea aspect a little bit better, and it makes the decision that I've made this week a little bit worse. But more importantly, I think for Maddison himself is someone that you were targeting after this week anyway for his better fixtures. He looks amazingly good with the fixtures from 8 to 11. So if you're looking at Maddison this week, it would not have been the time. But for Chelsea, you've got Chelsea defenders. That should make you really, really go, okay, this could be it. The only thing it could mean is Vardy might find a way into that team now, and it's Vardy. But look, it's all doom and gloom for defenders at the minute because of the donuts they're getting. Sometimes you just need a little bit of an element of trust. I think that's quite hard to say considering what us three have done this week. But yeah, we'll get into that eventually.
Yeah. Any final comments before we sort of unpack the main structure of this episode? I think Damo's kind of alluded to what we're going to be talking about mostly in this episode. But Dom, anything that stood out to you since we recorded on Tuesday a few days ago?
Well, we had a lot of midweek games, teams outside the Big Six. So it's good to get a feel from that. Who got rested? Who seemed to be a lock? Man City playing that random game.
Friendly.
And, I don't know. So, lots to unpack with the midweek games because that always throws a spanner in the works.
Yeah.
A couple of players I've been looking at played well from teams that are not doing well, but I'll touch on that a bit later.
Yeah, 100%. And I think there's one big sort of player that didn't get minutes in over this week, which was massive, but we'll get into that once we start looking at our teams. So I might jump ahead maybe, just because I've got the tab open. So let me share my screen once I can get Chrome up and on the right tab. So we were talking on Tuesday about potentially wildcarding.
Yeah.
Here we go. So hopefully you guys can now see on the screen. What's going on here? All right, I have to do that and then come back. So I can see the screen just bear with me if I get some names wrong because it's a little bit blurry on my end because I'm not looking at a full screen. But I've pulled the wild card and there's one name on there that may be a bit different to what you guys are thinking or what I've been thinking. I made a little move last night, and the reason, it's got nothing to do with the Maddison injury. I was looking at my money in the bank and I was like, I can get Reece James into this team. And I was kicking myself when I didn't start with him after I spoke him up so much. And I looked at the combination that I had. And this is the debate we're going to have tonight. And I'm the only one I think that's in this position.
You're not, trust me.
I've gone Reece James and Harrison over like a Saliba or a Dunk with Rodrigo. So the one thing I've got with that is I feel like Harrison's role is just completely nailed. His expected assist numbers are still really good. He's still on set pieces. Yeah, he might not have the same ceiling as Rodrigo, but when I look at the combination of Harrison plus a Reece James over Rodrigo and a 4.5 defender, I think over the long term, that's potentially going to pay off more. It's safer in the midfielder, but I think Reece James has that big game explosion in him. But he also has the 1 or 2 pointer that Rodrigo also does have. So I've lent this way because I've just had the money to do it. When I look at Trent, Cancelo, Perisic, James, it just ticks off all those major defenses. So it gives me coverage without overcommitting, where I felt like Robertson obviously tied me into half my defense being Liverpool. De Bruyne has had to come in. We spoke so much about him. So, we just needed him in. I'm more than happy to ride Jesus and Tony all the way up to the World Cup. Absolutely no issue. Brentford fixtures are very strong. Jesus is the main man in that team as well. Martinelli's fine. Salah's fine. De Bruyne, yep. Sanchez. And then on the bench, let me just scroll down a tad so you can see my bench. It's Andreas, and then it's a bit of a risk with Emerson as a 4 million. But I just think once he's set in, thank you, Dom, for the little bit of extra knowledge you had on Tuesday. But then Stansfield is a 4.5 playing option for Fulham. Again, as a third sub, I'm not expecting anything. Emerson, again, it gives me time. I don't have a need to have to change this 11 bar injuries. And then I'll be sitting at one transfer a week from next week in case I do need to go sideways on anybody. So I think I've got good coverage. Money in the bank, I think, is 0.2. So not much to play with, but it is what it is. I think I'm finally settled on that because it gives me really good coverage in both the forward and defensive lines, and my forwards are set and forget bar injury or suspension. So that's where I'm leaning. Let me know in the chat if you guys have anything else, but just to run through it one more time, it's Sanchez, Trent, Cancelo, Perisic, James, De Bruyne, Salah, Harrison, Martinelli, Tony, and Jesus. What are your thoughts on that, fellas?
I've got a question for you, Paul.
Yep.
You've watched a lot of content this week. I listen to content on my podcast on my way to work and all the YouTube videos I listen to on my way to work.
Yep.
Or on the way home. Your decision to wildcard, what do you think of it?
I needed to because I needed to take some money out of the defense. That was the thing for me. I felt like I was too heavily committed at the back. I felt I couldn't go anywhere. Like I just felt I still felt like I needed Reece James. That was part of it.
Yep.
And then I just had other issues in the team. I didn't like Haaland, and I didn't like Haaland really. Like seeing him not play full minutes early was frustrating. And then obviously getting the quote from Pep early in the week, and then he played in the friendly. It's just, I didn't want that headache anymore. So for me, I was already one move in. I already had brought Rodrigo in anyway. I didn't like Trippier. I didn't really like Trippier's fixtures. So when you start piling up these few things, yes, I didn't have a huge reason to wildcard, but I thought I've got a better time than any now to capitalize on City's really good fixtures, so I can restructure to get De Bruyne in, so I don't have to worry about an 11.7 million asset blanking because he's on the bench. So there's that. Then I've got Trippier sitting on the bench. I didn't like that. I'd rather the Chelsea fixtures anyway, so I really wanted to move up to Reece James. Perisic hurt big time. I apologise to Dom in person last week. I got that one wrong. I didn't think he was quite ready yet, but he proved me wrong. If he's the guy that I'm riding that's not going to start, I feel more confident with him coming on if they're losing to provide something. Otherwise, he's not going to come on if they're winning, which means Andreas or Emerson can play. And again, I'm fine with that coverage regardless. So I think the wild card was more, I had probably 2 or 3 guys that I was a bit uneasy with that didn't work, plus the double Liverpool defense. So when you're talking about 3 or 4 things like that needed some form of addressing, maybe not directly, I don't like having ifs, buts, and maybes in my team. And that's why I've put the money into Reece James over Rodrigo, because I feel like Jack Harrison's the most secure of the 3 lead midfielders that people are looking at.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. Like Rodrigo definitely has the big hit potential. When we talk about data, you can only exceed the expected data for so long, where Jack Harrison's just sort of chugging along nicely. So I think there's a little bit of a differential. I can quickly check his ownership, which on screen is like 3. Is that 3%? I can't really see properly.
3.3, yeah.
mate,
Yeah,
I'll take
and I
that all.
can't
And he's
believe
on
that.
set pieces. I will take that all day long. 3.3% ownership for 0.3 less. Yes, he might not have the same goal return. The other big news was Bamford didn't play this week, so in the Carabao Cup.
I thought he was going to get a run.
Yeah, so the fact that he didn't shows you that Rodrigo's probably got 2 weeks of being the number 9 minimum, but someone's got to provide him the goals too. So I think there's enough points there for Jack Harrison. If things go wrong, I've got a plan in mind, but it determines on what that player does and what the team does. For me, if I can go sideways into Rashford after what I saw him do to Liverpool, but I'm obviously relying on him sitting in a similar role in the system and just seeing a couple of weeks of data before that ever happened. But that was if I had to then get off of Harrison for whatever reason. But other than that, that back five with Sanchez as well, they are locked to my World Cup. That doesn't change now, bar injury. That is completely locked. And to be fair, so is De Bruyne, Salah, Martinelli, Jesus and Tony. The only position that I actually don't feel comfortable with is... Oh, I'm comfortable. But the only position that's not a certainty would be Jack Harrison. But if he keeps going at the rate he's going, then I've got... And even in the data, his big chances... Pardon?
It's an easy swap out.
Exactly.
Someone like that.
Or if I need money, I can go down to an Aronson if they're still playing well. You know what I mean? So I've got the flexibility there. I've just pulled the data up that we looked at. He's played 256 minutes so far compared to Rodrigo's 238. He's obviously only got the 1 goal. The expected points is a lot lower. He's got 3 assists, though. That's massive. He's only had 2 shots. I'd like to see his shots go up, but his expected goal involvement is still 2.3. So...
Yeah, is he a left footer that plays on the right?
He's a left footer that plays on the left.
On the left. Okay, so he's whipping those balls in.
So he's putting delivery in, he's taking corners.
He's
and even when Bamford comes back...
Exactly, when Bamford's back, the role doesn't change.
Just whip those outswingers in.
Yeah. So that's where my thoughts are, to be honest. And that's, again, if I could find the extra 0.3 mil... I'd probably go up to, or the extra 0.1 is what I need to find, actually. I probably would go up to Rodrigo, but then, I don't know. I'm happy. I'm not going to lie. I'm happy. So that's my wildcard team there on screen, guys. So let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. Dim's gone a bit gutsy to pull it this early, but thanks, Dim. I think hopefully my rationale...
Yours, Dim.
Yeah. Hopefully my rationale has kind of showed you to why I've pulled it. It's not because I'm that disappointed. It's that I've got too many question marks in my team. And after 3 weeks, I've seen enough to go, I'd rather get some more certainties. Now, the only question mark that's in this team for me is Perisic. But I can ride it. I can ride it at 5.5. I don't want to ride 6.9 and 11.5 question marks in my team. That's the key.
I like the rationale, Paul. I do. Dom, you already know from the last episode that you have wildcarded as well. How comfortable do you sit with your wildcard?
Amazing. Still amazing.
Do you want me to put it on screen?
Amazing?
Yeah, put it on. Well, you might as well. Well,
there we go.
It's a very good-looking wildcard side.
Right back at you, mate.
Yeah, cheers, mate. I'm going to talk about mine in a second. It kind of alludes to what I've done this week, but let's talk about yours first.
If you can't, it's probably not as big for the stream. Wildcard had gone Raya, who I had last week, he stays back through the back 4 changes. So I've gone Perisic, Saliba, Trent, Cancelo, and I brought in Emerson. At 4.0, he's much better than having Neco on your bench. Better team around him. They'll pick up eventually, and by all reports, they're also going to be moving to a back 3. So he'll play wing back. So I think for the 4.0, I'm taking him over Patterson and Neco. And I think if you're wild card, do the same. I recommend you do the same. Salah, Martinelli stay. And I brought in Rodrigo and De Bruyne, as well as Ivan Toney. Or Haaland, Neto, and... can't remember. And I've got Pascal Gross on my bench.
Yeah.
Who will rotate out. So I've planned my fixtures. And obviously Stansfield is my 4.5 forward. He's been playing on the left for Fulham, but that could change because they are signing Justin Cliver, so he probably won't play. So actually I might have to change that out because he might drop in price.
No, he won't drop. His ownership's so low.
What's his ownership? 2.2%.
He's fine. He won't drop.
All right. Yeah, I'll look at it anyway.
We can always burn a
that's the thing.
4.5 striker if we need to, if we literally have nothing to do with your transfers.
Well, Well, I've got 2 starting strikers, and I'm happy to go to a 3-5-2, 4-5-1,
Yeah.
5-4-1. Yeah.
So you got a little bit of extra coverage, I reckon. So you've obviously don't have Andreas, so that's probably the one.
No, I've binned Andreas, and I was tossing up, and I've actually only brought him in about a couple of hours ago, but I've kept Trent in the team. I've got rid of Reece James because I'm not liking, for me as a Chelsea fan, I think he starts at right centre-back again this week with Koulibaly's injury.
Suspension.
Chalobah is a bit of uncertainty because if Fofana comes, Chalobah leaves. But I think Chalobah starts this week because they've only got Thiago Silva, and they won't think they'll start Aspi in the 3. But I think there's a world where they play a back 4 with Chalobah, Thiago Silva, and then Cuckoo and Reece James at the right back.
Yeah.
But I also see a world where Trent goes back to wing back and they play Chalobah, Silva, Cucurella left centre back, and Chilwell left wing back. So it's just the uncertainty, but I'm targeting to bring Reece James back in. And Perisic, I'm still unsure about. I just don't know. I don't like when the extra fixtures roll around, what happens there.
Just no one else in that price bracket. That's my concern. So I could easily go down to somebody. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm thinking, yeah. That's what I'm thinking. But Perisic, I'm still a bit uncertain on, but I had to get Cancelo in. That was my biggest regret, not starting with him.
Yeah, and he definitely looks good.
But, yeah.
And I think we might actually do a bit of a focus on Perisic a bit after.
Yeah, we will.
So from that side there, again, it's extremely solid. The same issues with Perisic. Rodrigo, I've already sort
Emerson
of
was nailed on. If Emerson Royal was nailed on, but I think give it a couple of weeks and Doherty's the lock.
Yeah, but then the thing is, do we look a bit more short term then? Do we look at Emerson Royale for 2 weeks at 5 million? And then worst case scenario, do we then look at a Kyle Walker? Do you look at a Kieran Trippier to come back in when the fixtures pick up? That's what I'm thinking right now. If I was to go Perisic to Emerson, because you know Emerson's a lock until Doherty. Like Doherty hasn't even started on the bench yet. You know what I mean? Like he's not just going to come in and start. That's just not going to happen. We know Emerson, he may play 80 minutes and Doherty might start getting a little bit more minutes. And then once we can start predicting that, then we can start going, oh, okay, what do we do? For me, if I can save the 0.5 and go, I think Emerson's 5 flat, I think.
I think so.
Emerson's 5 flat, yeah.
So you're going to save a 0.5. I've got 0.2 in the bank as it is. So I could be putting 0.7 on top of an Andreas, up to a 5.2. Maybe there's no one there. I don't know. But
no, you sold me. I'm bringing Emerson in, which gives me 0.6 to up somewhere else.
And that could get me to Rodrigo if I want to do it.
All right. Nah, you sold me.
That was quick.
Down to Emerson.
Yeah, so that's if you want to take the short-term approach. And I think that's probably the smart option there. I don't know, Dame, if you're looking up data or whatnot there, but...
I am. I'm looking up Emerson's data because I do like the idea, but I will explain that more about what I'm thinking in a second.
Yeah, because I think we get caught in this habit of looking to like the end of the season. You know what I mean? Like Perisic, 100%. If we knew he was going to play 90 minutes, cool. Right now, he's not. And you're not going to touch the Spurs left-hand side because it's too interchangeable. Who else is potentially going to play right wing back?
I think you need a Spurs defender.
For this run of fixtures, I agree.
Conte pisses out clean sheet.
Yeah. And it's more the fact that the wing backs are playing so advanced at the moment.
So high.
Yeah. The eye test is telling us, like, we don't... Well, I'm going to speak for you guys, but I've openly said Emerson Royale is a really frustrating player to watch because he gets into really good areas, but sometimes his delivery is not the greatest. This year, it's been a lot better.
It's a pure Brazilian. You don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah, but I think
winger.
Even if you get 2.5, 3 weeks out of him, because remember we've got the midweek games this week, that's probably what's helping me in making that move, because it's less time for Doherty to get back. So you're probably going to get a minimum 3 weeks out of Emerson Royale, but like 3 game weeks out of him. I think that's worth it. to be honest. I see Damo's nodding his head there. I don't know if he's glitching out, but he's nodding along there a lot.
I am.
And I don't like talking about keep 0.5 in the bank. Whether I put that on Andreas or not, do I put it on from Sanchez to Ramsdale and ride the Arsenal fixtures maybe? Because I don't cover any Arsenal defence. I don't know. I don't know how you're getting Gross in there over me. What have you got? You've got Perisic. You got Saliba. So you roll in a 4-5.
He has no Reece James compared to you, Paul. There's a 0.5.
So it's James versus Saliba, isn't it? Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm prepared to give that up, though.
Yeah. Because he was my lock from the start.
Who was? Reece James?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think...
I could easily get him in.
Yeah, I think you could. And I think... Yeah. I am very much in the Reece James. I think Tuchel's played 2 games with him at right centre-back and hasn't worked effectively. Like, it worked against Spurs, but again, you still lose. Like, he got better.
He scored his goal when he played on the right, though.
Exactly right. That's what I was about to say. He got more out of him going back out to right wing back. I think if Tuchel is as smart as everyone says he is, he goes, maybe I'll put my best player in his best position.
Maybe.
That's my thought. And I go, with this run of fixtures, I don't want to be the guy that misses out on a Reece James 2 goals, 1 assist and gets 24 points like he did last year.
I hear you. Yeah. I'm with you.
All right. Any final thoughts there, chat or Damo, about Dom's team?
The good-looking side.
Yeah, you got me thinking about the Perisic. Down, up.
I am genuinely... If there was a 5 million midfielder that I could get to, I would do it in a heartbeat. Or if I could somehow get Aronson in, I would do it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, if I could have Aronson and Harrison and ride them together, that would be mental.
5.7 player on the bench.
What was that?
But then it's a 5.7 player on the bench, but there's a big game next week.
Who's your 5.7? Gross?
Gross, yeah.
But it's not an issue having him on the bench, though, because you're just playing fixtures.
There's a big game next week. Is it Rodrigo? Who's Rodrigo next week?
All right. Damo, do you want to talk us through your team? Is it even worth me changing the screen?
It is, because I've got a few different...
all right. Well, I don't actually have yours loaded yet, so let me load yours up. All right. Start talking through it, and I'll get it up as you're talking.
Well, as you will see on the screen, as it has come up there, it is basically a starting 11 that is copy and paste from Dom, apart from the keeper. He's got Raya, I've got Sanchez.
Yep.
I like the Emerson Royale talk there, Paul, because I was tempted to do it. I also have a draft on my computer right now, which I'll share my screen in a second to walk through, which is a very different draft compared to where we have gone with. I want to put this out and say this right now. Where Paul's happy wildcarded and Dom's happy he's wildcarded, I'm the one here that thinks I've panicked too much and I've wildcarded too early, personally. I should have probably been taking another hit.
Oh.
And my main reason why I did it and wildcard is I really hated being a Ward and Iverson of how bad Leicester have looked.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I was like, that's one problem. I took a hit last week. I already made my move from Iverson to Sanchez. And then it was more the fact that I want to move because the defense wasn't particularly great. I could have wrote it, and I should have wrote it with a back 5 being of Trent, Robertson. I kind of, look, and this is not the right way to think about FPL, I kind of want to get Robertson out because he's gone down, and if Liverpool concede, he's going to go down again.
Yeah.
We should have probably have rode Robertson for 1 more week against Bournemouth, I feel. Then it was Cucurella who looked really good. And my idea was to get Reece James in, and I haven't even done that. And then I wanted an Arsenal defender over Dunk. But Dunk has got Leeds, and I actually see a world where Leeds blank this week because I think Brighton are really good.
Yeah.
So that back 5 worked. So while everyone's sitting here, I'm happy I'm wildcarded. From everything that I've looked at, expected data, everything, I should have probably either taken 1 extra hit to get Saliba in to get the Arsenal fixture if I really wanted it.
Yeah.
Or I should have, or wildcarding, which I did. The main reason I wildcard is I wanted Ivan Toney for this run. If I didn't get Toney for Everton, I'm not getting Toney in at all.
Yeah.
I want Toney in. Second reason is I want an Arsenal defender, and that was Saliba, right? It's allowed me to go to De Bruyne, which if you watched
Before you go on, Dame, I just think with Saliba, you're just too reliant on clean sheets. Yeah, I know he scored, but he's not going to do that a lot.
That's all it's there for.
Yeah, and that's just what I'm a bit worried about. Like, I could easily do it and make a bit of extra coin, but I'd rather take the attacking returns from a fullback and pay a little bit higher.
And that's where Dom's gone with having Emerson on the bench. I've kept Trippier. Then I've switch Saliba and Trippier with the easier fixture.
Oh, yeah.
And then ride Trippier for the easier fixture.
Fair enough.
Which is easy enough. Which, to be fair, I want to do him against Wolves because Wolves look so good, but from at home compared to Wolves away, yeah, I'm still tempted to do that and put Saliba on the bench knowing that Fulham and Mitrovic could find a goal.
Yeah.
For me, we talked a heap about De Bruyne, and it's a talk that made me go for it. And I sit here tonight with a temptation to not go with De Bruyne at all and not go with any City players bar Cancelo in my wild card. And I know that might sound ludicrous because the whole reason I wild carded was to change my squad to get De Bruyne because I believe Haaland's going to get rested. If it's not next game week, you're going to try and keep him for Forest, captain him, and next minute he's going to come off the bench and get 2 points for you.
Yeah.
Because you captained him and he's been on the park for 10 minutes. I see where Pep throws him on every game for 10 minutes for whatever reason because it's 5 subs.
Yeah.
I don't see him getting a full rest. I'm in this weird spot where I've wildcarded now, so I've got to live with it. Wish I didn't. I was playing on a game week 12 wildcard and I really wanted to know if writing that out would have been the smart thing. But I do say, and I echo what Paul said, there's a lot less uncertainty in that squad. The only uncertainty for me is Perisic and Rodrigo. And I'll explain to Rodrigo in a second. Perisic, the uncertainty is if he starts or not. Thing is, for me, when Perisic starts, he looks that good, he's going to get you 12 points.
Yeah.
So if he gets 1 point, one game week where he comes off the bench, and the next game week he gets 12, you ride that for the season, I feel. All right? Rodrigo's the question mark because Bamford's close to coming back. What's his output going to be? One of his goals he scored was right on the goal line, looped up. The ball's already going in. He tapped it in. He's lucky he was onside. Right?
The other one, the near post against Ward.
Yeah.
Or Sarr, one of them.
Yeah.
Should be doing better. The header's probably the best one, actually, out of the four.
Yeah, and from a set piece. So I'm tempted to not go Rodrigo knowing that it's allowing me to get money elsewhere because I want Reece James. I think he's going back to right wing back. I don't want to miss out on that as well. And I think the Chelsea fixtures are good. Yet again, though, I keep saying that to myself. I should have been like, well, if you thought that, Cucurella played well and just didn't get no return. Should have kept Cucurella.
Yeah, but he's going to change role, though. He'll go to centre back, I think.
Maybe, but yet again, it makes me think if I don't go Rodrigo and I don't go De Bruyne, why did I wildcard for? Should have just kept it and just rode Haaland for a week and then swapped Haaland to Kane because that's what I'm thinking of doing. I'm thinking of putting a wildcard in with Harry Kane up top. He's got Forest, and then he gets a decent game, and then he gets Fulham, I think, at home.
Just not a fan of the eye test at the moment of him, but
he scores goals. I'm tempted to ride to not do De Bruyne, which was the main reason I wildcarded, which kind of shows you that I've chopped and I've changed and I've thought about it. I've got a team set up that I want to get you guys to give me an opinion on. If my team stayed as it is on screen, I'm happy. I am tempted to go to Aronson because I feel like his output's pretty similar to Jack Harrison. He's 5.5 instead of 6. Gives me a little bit of extra money to get to Reece James from Trippier and still have money in the bank if I want to do something else. If there is somehow I could get that team to get Plange up to Welbeck, because then I can go Welbeck to Mitrovic, I would much rather it. Yeah. But I just don't know how I can do that. I guess it's ride Saliba, get Emerson for Trippier, move Rodrigo down to Aronson. There might be just enough money to get the Welbeck at 6.5 with their fixtures or gross. But I feel like you need to get a Fulham fixture in because they go 4 good game weeks, 2 bad games, and all good game weeks until the World Cup. But with wildcarded, we need players till the World Cup. So
yeah, I'm
thinking it has to be Aronson for me. And out of the 3 of Harrison, and Rodrigo, I think Aronson's the worst. He has played 90, has looked good. I think Harrison's personally the best because his creative output is so fantastic, creating the most big chances in the league. If Rodrigo moves back into the middle of the park, Bamford goes up top. Harrison's role won't change where Rodrigo's will. And I don't know how sustainable it is. There's a lot to be said, though, that the form Rodrigo's in, he bangs goals in, you probably want to ride him. Yeah. He's gone up in price. But it's either as you see it, or I find a way to get Welbeck in so I can go free up top. And that's why the Emerson Royale talk was really good, because if I can save 0.5 on Perisic to Emerson Royale, if I have to bin off Trippier, which I don't like doing, I can, right? And then if I have to move Rodrigo down to Aronson or Harrison, if I can get Welbeck in for Plange, I would much rather it. So then I get the Welbeck creativity, Welbeck fixtures, and then it allows me to move to Mitrovic after game week 8 where Fulham have their good run.
Yeah.
So I'm happy I've wildcarded, but at the same time, if you told me if I should have wildcarded, my answer was no.
Oh, well, that's part of the fun, though, isn't it?
It is. I've been stressing and chopping and changing, price rises, you name it. I've changed my team a million times. I will show you a team that I have drawn up quickly. You should be able to see it now in the Discord. If you're not,
Just give me 1 sec.
No, that's okay there, mate.
All right, let me stop mine because I think we're done sharing my screen.
Yeah, that's the team that I'm looking at right now. I am going to put it out there. I would much rather have 3 up front than Jesus, Tony, and Welbeck, and much rather still have De Bruyne. So that team's just more of an idea to get Trent, Cancelo, James, Kane, Salah in the same team with Harrison, which does look good. It allows me to have Emerson, Saliba as playing defenders to rotate. I'm a big fan of Andreas Pereira, and he's good fixtures. I'm thinking of using him. For me, if that was the case, I shouldn't have wildcarded, waited for the extra week, and then swap Haaland the Kane for the Nottingham Forest, which is a big move. But thoughts on that side that you would have seen on screen, and thoughts on my actual wildcard, which one would you go for?
I think the one you've got currently is the better one.
Yeah, the one you've got currently. I don't like Kane.
Yeah.
Good goals, but I want to get away. I want to get to Welbeck. I will say that, because then it allows me to go to Mitrovic. It allows me to ride the good fixtures here for Brighton, and then it allows me to get to Mitrovic when Fulham's fixtures turn really well.
Yeah, I just think looking at your other side, which I can try and bring back up on screen.
Just turn my camera off. Apologies.
And I can stop doing that one. And let me share your current one, just so everyone can get a bit of understanding of what we're looking at. I think the Rodrigo, Martinelli, De Bruyne, Salah just kills the midfield. I think you get more out of that midfield over having Kane, and then obviously Reece James, but you get Perisic though too. So I just feel like the one you've got is probably the better draft. There's a good question there from Dim saying rating Kane over Son. Is there a world where you could put Son in?
Feel like Son's a bit whatever at the minute.
Yeah, I don't think he started the season as good as he could. But I don't know. I think, let us know in the chat as well, guys. But I think the one that's on screen currently, which is your current draft, is probably the one that I would go with if I was picking.
As we go through the stream, I am going to try and bring up a draft where I'll get Welbeck in and see what your thoughts are on that. But we'll do that as we keep talking about all the questions and everything else.
Yep. So, Dom, any points you want to bring up?
I believe you're right. I like your current wildcard, but mine's exactly the same.
That's probably why you like it then, because they're very similar. Yeah. So you got similar thought processes, then of course they're going to be similar. I've just been tinkering a little bit, but
I've got a way to get Welbeck in, but yeah.
All right. So, Dom, has anyone stood out to you so far that we haven't spoken about?
Black and white platoon.
Yeah, they look good, didn't they? Against City.
I'm not seeing any talk about any of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of good assets.
Everyone's just talking about Trippier. Our player I'm targeting after the Liverpool game, ASM at 6.4.
For me, it depends if he plays in the 10 or if he plays out wide. It depends what they do.
Callum Wilson's out this week for their game against, I think they had an average this week. Wolves, away at Wolves. I wouldn't touch that because Wolves are solid defensively. Next week, Liverpool, wouldn't touch that again. But he's a target for game week 6, I think.
So what do you reckon the best way to get him in is? That's the question.
Is Rodrigo blank these two?
Yeah.
Or whoever, if you have Gross.
Good sideways move.
I think, yeah.
I'm tempted to just bring him in. Wolves can rotate for Liverpool and then just ride him.
2 crap fixtures.
I wouldn't say Wolves is. I think Wolves are at a point where they need to start being a bit more aggressive.
I think Newcastle are that good that you can
ride it.
You can ride it.
And
That's
then
why I was
Liverpool's
gonna
Liverpool.
pick Trippier.
So if I had to bring him in, I'd obviously have to do some moves. So I'll just quickly talk through it.
Yeah.
So Reece James, Perisic splits into Emerson and Zinchenko, as an example. Then Harrison turns into St. Max, and then that leaves me with some money in the bank still. So Pereira goes to Aronson. Do you want me to show you what that looks like on screen?
By all means.
So this is a very big potential. Let me refresh my page. So this could be this week and this is where it works well, Dom, because I'm going to show you why. So let me reload this. So on screen is my side if I made these moves. So Trent, Cancelo, Emerson, Zinchenko. This is with a couple million, a couple 0.2 in the bank. So I could ride Zinchenko whilst Tierney's still not fit. That obviously means I've got two fullbacks at some point that aren't 100% locked in. Not ideal. Obviously could look at cheaper fullbacks if I really wanted to for Zinchenko. Not a problem. St. Max this week with Wolves. Aronson this week versus Brighton. So I can have that option on the bench in case whatever reason happens. But I'd rather try and ride the Brighton clean sheet.
You don't want someone versus the keeper regardless of who it is.
Exactly. So then next week, I can bench St. Max when he's playing Trent. And I can bring Aronson on. And then from game week 6, I can go 3-5-2 and ride the better fullback out of Emerson and Zinchenko if I need to.
Make that transfer just then?
Yeah, I did just then.
It wasn't any price rises you just missed out on or anything like that, right?
No, because everyone's only gone up like 0.1.
You'll have to pay to get the extra point to get them back in. Who did you take out?
No, but
Harrison didn't take out and make any changes.
I haven't lost any money, Damo. It's okay. Yeah, I've only done it once this week, and it was a Trippier. And I did that when I was half asleep. And
don't worry, I've nearly been caught out twice.
Everyone else didn't rise in my current. Everyone else I've just taken out hasn't been in my current team. It's Reece James, Perisic, Harrison, and Andreas. But Andreas is still 4-5. So that's what I'm thinking that. I obviously haven't looked at it in my team, but I can go 3-5-2 very easily, ride the better fixture out of Zinchenko, Emerson, Royale as the third defender.
Yeah.
And then have Aronson, St. Max, Martinelli, Salah, De Bruyne with Tony, Jesus. What do you think?
I like it. I think it gives you a lot of flexibility.
I think that's better than what I just had. I think I have to lose Reece James. I don't think I can carry James, Cancelo, Trent, and Perisic. I think you just lose too much in the midfield.
Yeah, and it's ticked us off for 3 games.
Doing what? Too much money in the back?
Yeah, big at the back failed.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't think it's failed. I just think that everyone had one bad week at the same time, which is never nice.
But having Robertson there too didn't help when he was only 10% owned.
Yes.
Yeah. If you didn't have double Liverpool and you had James instead of Robertson, then you should not have wildcarded.
I wouldn't have wildcarded. No, because then I would have lost one of those. I would have lost one of those big decisions though. So it would have been manageable.
I thought Liverpool would have flopped first 3 games.
Exactly.
So.
But the data's not there to support Robertson either. The data's there to keep Trent. So everything in my head tells me keep Robertson because of the price and the eye test and the opportunity. But Trent's attacking numbers are the best in the league. Like for anyone other than a striker, the forwards haven't put the ball in the back of the net for him because it's all been assists. Most of his chances. He's actually had, just looking at my data here, from a high, he's had 5 shots. He's equaled Reece James for shots. So
0.1 XG, but yes. So
so they're low chances, but his expected goal involvement's 1.2.
Yeah, but that's because he's paying absolutely unreal, which is great.
So you just got to ride him at this point.
Yeah, he should have had 2 assists versus Palace nailed on. Nunes should never miss the one at the back. Deacon Salah should never miss the cutback. They both should hit the target and the keeper makes a save.
So the other person that I was thinking of in this role was getting Almiron.
I looked at him a lot.
At 5 mil.
I think Isaac coming in kills him.
Well, Isaac's going to go play through the middle. There's no way he doesn't play through the middle. But I think there's a system change coming.
That's what I was going to say. I think all 3 of us think they're going to go 3-5-2.
Yep. With St. Max in the 10.
Deterring me.
Yeah, which is why I want St. Max in.
Yeah.
But now Wilson's injured, so I would love to see Isaac's price. If he's at like a 6 or something.
Nah, no way.
He's got 6. If he's 6 or 6.5 mil, that's the reason I want to go 4 for 3 because I can get to him.
There's no way he's 6.5. And I wonder, so when do you reckon that's going to get announced?
Soon, because they just.
So we're going to miss that, aren't we?
This week.
Yeah, it's going to be the week after.
Yeah, fair enough.
This weekend.
He will be if Skamaka's 7. I was trying to refocus my camera. If Skamaka's 7, He's going to be 7.5.
Yeah.
There's no
Bamford
way.
7.5. I'm with you too. So
Yeah.
Yeah, Bamford wasn't in the league.
Yeah.
Goes by what they've done outside the league.
Yeah. So I
I
think
don't know.
that's what it is.
I'm hoping if he comes in at 6.5, it just makes me trying to
It's
get
not
Welbeck
happening.
in so much better. But I don't think
It's not happening. I can tell you now. If it is, then I don't know what I'll do, but I'll do something stupid.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm the same.
So I am very in the park of Newcastle are
A very good side.
very underrated still. They are not getting the credit at all from what they were doing last year and how they've started this year. They are a very, very good side. They're very defensively solid. They've got good players in all three lines. I think we've been very naive to only have Trippier. Yes, I don't have Trippier right now, but that's fixture based. I could easily... Emerson Royale is so easily going to turn into Trippier once the Liverpool fixture's over with for me as well. Yeah. If I need... Or Zinchenko, whoever it is, whoever that fullback of those two, they're a placeholder for Trippier. And really, I could probably put him in right now anyway, to be honest, and play him against Wolves, but then I've got to carry one of them against Liverpool, and that's what I don't want to do. So I'll wait for the Liverpool fixture to bring Trippier in because I'd rather have St. Max at the moment because I don't really want Rodrigo. I think I've made my mind up there. I don't want Rodrigo, and I don't want to feel that I have to play him. I think with Aronson, I feel comfortable benching feel comfortable benching Jack Harrison. I could leave the money in the bank if I wanted to go Harrison this week and next week, but
the only thing I will say about not being on the Leeds boys is their fixtures are unbelievable to the World Cup.
Harrison and Rodrigo?
I would love to. I would love to. If I could get Aronson and
Nah.
Harrison in, I would love to, but I don't see a world where you can.
I can, but I'd rather St. Max.
Well, the thing is, for me, is that you're dropping Martinelli, St. Max in there, Paul, or you're dropping Martinelli and De Bruyne.
No. You'd St. Max to go to Rodrigo if I was to do that, or Harrison. Yeah. I don't want to double up. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about doubling up in the same position.
For me, it's Brighton's fixture. It's that Brighton fixture. Wildcarding as they're playing Brighton. Got a really good defence. You don't want to do it.
Yeah, and then I don't want to start one or the other. So, I don't know who else I'm benching in this team if I was to play both. You know what I mean?
I hear you too.
When Martinelli's got Fulham, Zinchenko's got Fulham, Royale's got Nottingham Forest, who comes out of this team if I took Max to Rodrigo or Harrison? Who comes out for Aronson? Probably no one. And I don't want to ride two people against Brighton.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm more than happy to ride Aronson on the bench this week because the Brighton fixture I expect to be tough. And I didn't really feel particularly comfortable starting Rodrigo or Jack Harrison against Brighton anyway. And that kind of makes me feel like I really am happy with my pick of Sanchez as my goalkeeper because now I don't feel guilty about starting a Leeds forward against Brighton, hoping for a goal and banking against a clean sheet. Now I actually feel really happy that I've got Sanchez, where all week I was umming and ahhing, do I just go David Raya? But David Raya gets Leeds in 2 weeks' time anyway. So
yeah,
you're going to face the same conundrum anyway. So maybe I'll just go with Sanchez now, ride it, and if I need a transfer, I'll use the transfer. But the fact that I can go... I think, who have they got next? Is it Everton Leeds have next? You check for me.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Sure, like
the fact that I can just swap out St. Max, who's got Liverpool, for Aronson against Everton, and then I can go, I can just do what I want with the 4 at the back, 3 at the back. It doesn't matter.
Not gonna ride a St. Max against Liverpool without defensive frailties.
I could. I genuinely could, to be honest.
If anyone's going to do it.
It probably would be actually on the break, to be fair.
Pull out just a madness.
Could be a 3-5-2. You know what I mean? And I ride Aronson too. I feel like the other draft I had, I think I kind of alluded to it. I just didn't like that I didn't have any flexibility on the bench. With Pereira in that other spot. I think I needed another mid.
Pereira's a good enough bench player though. I will say that.
Yeah, but he's not fixture proof.
No, he's not. You got to play him in the right fixtures. And Fulham's fixtures do turn well. And that's the reason why I wanted Welbeck to placehold Mitrovic.
But in the short term, it's not great for Fulham.
So until game week 7. Yeah, so Fulham's next 4 fixtures is Arsenal, Brighton, Spurs, Chelsea.
That's dreadful.
And then listen to their run to the World Cup after that. From game week 8 onwards. Forest, Newcastle, West Ham, Bournemouth, Villa, Leeds, Everton. The only big boy they play is Man City. They then get Man United, and you're going to have me, Mitrovic, up against Sandro Martinez. I know what battle I like, right? And then the last game before they go to the World Cup is Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
I think it's game week 17 they end.
So he becomes a decent enough downgrade target after the next 4 game weeks.
Yeah, he does. After the next 4 game weeks, from game week 8, there's a few game weeks where you could maybe start Andreas Pereira on the park.
Yeah. But I'm not prepared to ride him right now with those fixtures.
He's just set and forget on the bench. He's your best 4.5 bench option in the game, so he's just set and forget.
Yeah, I think I can utilise that money better right now, though. And I can plan to bring him back in, saving a mil, and then like having 2 transfers, and then putting that mil back onto someone else.
Yeah, I hear you.
So that's my thoughts. All right.
I've sent you what I would do to get Welbeck in.
Have a quick look. All right, talk me through it whilst I'm loading it up.
I've just made a couple of changes that would allow us. The Emerson Royale change firstly as well. That allows it, right? As you can see on screen. So that Emerson Royale was Perisic. That gives me 0.5. I've had to move Trippier down to Emerson, but that's a 2 game week swing, and then I'm planning on getting Trippier back for Emerson Royale, depending. I feel like then Saliba, unfortunately, in that case, becomes a lock. And that also means that I have to play a variation of... It does allow me to play 3-4-3. It does allow me to play 4-4-2, which is great. But it means that I have to play a lot of the time 3-4-3.
Yeah.
This week, I wouldn't want to play 3-4-3 because I don't... Saliba's got Fulham. Cancelo's got a good fixture. Emerson's got a good fixture. But it allows me some flexibility. The only reason why I want to do that is, yet again, Mitrovic for the fixtures, and just in case Isaac comes out with a 6 price, which if he comes out at 6 or 6.5,
definitely not happening.
Which is not happening, but it allows me somewhere where I can move that team to get a Isaac in. If he's 7, I'm just moving Harrison down to Aronson and then getting Isaac in up top with 7. If he's 7.5, it becomes a bit harder. If it's 7.5, it comes a case of after De Bruyne's fixtures, do you then get rid of to then put it into the 3 strikers?
Yeah, but you'd want to see Isaac first, though.
I would, but if he comes in with a 6 or 6.5, I think he's just worth riding. Which I know
Stop putting in your head. It's not happening. He's definitely not coming in 6.5. Don't even bank on it.
I see where he comes in at 6.5.
No, you're wanting it. You're not thinking it.
Who are you talking about? Isaac.
Yeah, still
7.
Not happening. 7.5, man. He's an international European proven striker. He's not coming in any cheaper than Skamaka.
£17 for him.
Thing is, the FPL are going to get
Nunes came in at 9, Damien. He's coming in at least 8. 7.5, 8.
Yeah, I agree.
If Jesus is 8, so is Isaac, really.
Should be, but FPL have got pricing a bit wrong this year.
Yeah, but adding one person into the game is not hard.
I will say, do you prefer that or do you prefer what I had before?
What you had before?
I just feel like
I'd say it's pretty 50-50. I don't know how I feel about Welbeck, though. I thought about Welbeck.
No, I don't like Welbeck.
Yeah.
I think his output's good. He just hasn't got anything. One of the penalty on the weekend.
Undav gets to start soon because he scored this morning.
Who did?
Undav.
Was that
his name?
Yeah, Undav.
Got 7 points against United. Played 90 minutes against Newcastle, who are pretty good, and then he won the penalty against West Ham. They've got Leeds, which I think can be got at. Fulham, Leicester, Bournemouth.
I just don't trust his durability. There's a proven record of him not getting through big blocks of games. I just feel with these midweek games and whatnot, he's just going to break down. That's my worry.
And it's a question. I move Welbeck down back to a 4.5 and then improve Andreas Pereira to go 5 midfielders.
The way I have.
Yeah, because then I'm thinking I can play 2 up top and I can play a 3-5-2 or a 4-4-2.
That's what I'm doing.
But that system now allows me to play 3-4-3. You know, there's even I can play that as a 5-2-3. With De Bruyne, Salah, Emerson has a good fixture, Saliba
with Martinelli.
Well. Yeah, or I could even play a Or I could even play a 3-5 as well if I think the Andreas fixture is really good there too. So
I'm not gonna lie, the Saliba placehold makes me feel a lot more settled than Zinchenko probably. What are your thoughts on that, boys?
I do, because I think Saliba has played himself into a nailed-on centre-back for them for the year. And you're not getting Saliba in to get a goal. Definitely not. For me, Saliba is the only playing him in a fixture you expect Arsenal to keep a clean sheet. And it means instead of having Ramsdale, allows me to have Sanchez. And then Saliba's going to get me the clean sheet point.
Yeah,
That's
Dom,
it.
what are your thoughts? Zinchenko or Saliba?
I'm taking Saliba.
Yeah. Alrighty.
It's extra free money, I feel. It's just to have that flexibility. That leaves you put one in the bank. If Welbeck comes down to a 4.5, that's 5, that's 6. It gives me an extra, 2 mil. From there, I can move up to a 6.5 midfielder. It is St. Max. Or I could do the good old Harrison Rodrigo double up.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
I don't like doubling up.
Nah.
You could get Patrick Gross in for their fixtures.
But I just don't like his output. I don't know. He's just not a 10. He's in good areas, but not fantastic. All right, we got a few questions here, Dame.
Yeah,
I think time to answer some of the viewer questions.
I do too.
So let me get them up in front of me. I know one of them was from Dim. That was... Oh, I got to load up some stuff whilst we talk. It's going to be hard. Because we compared the defenders, mids and forwards last time, what keepers should we target? And is the set and forget working this year? Or should we be rotating? Dom, what are your thoughts?
Keepers, Raya or Sanchez. I think I've actually just, while we're talking, because I had quite a bit of money in the bank, playing around with the team, I'm rolling from now on until at least the World Cup with Raya and Sanchez. Their fixtures line up superbly. They're just two proven FPL weapons.
Raya and Sanchez.
From two great teams, yep.
Ooh.
Saves, clean sheets,
bit of everything.
Defenses, great teams. We've spoken about Brentford and Brighton so much in this pod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing. And if you're wildcarding, I'd do the same. It's only 0.5 up from Ward. Leicester are atrocious.
Yeah, that's actually a good point.
And I think you just rotate the two and you just, whoever you think's going to score higher, bring
better
them in.
fixture,
And if they don't,
home fixtures.
Yeah, home, better team. They line up really well. I just checked them. There's a lot of that. Neither of them play like a big 6, big 8 club.
All the way through.
Time. Yeah. The only thing is you just decide when they play each other, but...
You just pick the home team probably at that point.
So that's what I'm rolling with.
To be honest.
Was that Dim?
That was Dim. That's actually a good question.
It is a good question. I like it, Dim. I think Sanchez is your best one out of the lot at the minute. I do like Raya. I will say, if there is a world where you can get Edison in, he's probably going to be nailed on from to the World Cup for at least maybe another 8 clean sheets at a minimum.
I was tinkering with it and I can do it.
Yeah.
It's just not the same. Just lock.
Because if you go Edison, you just put Ward, and you're not going to switch Edison out for any game, even unless it's Liverpool. I feel like Sanchez and Ray are kind of like save merchants. I think the player I'm targeting most as the keeper is Pope, but I can't do it until their fixtures turn.
Yeah, 5 mil. He's solid.
5 mil though. He was a 4.5.
5 still solid. You could ride a Pope and another guy like that if you really wanted to, but anyway, it is what it is. If you had to pick, this is one of my questions, between starting a Leeds attacker or an Arsenal defender this week, what are you doing?
Which
Leeds
one,
at home to Brighton or Arsenal at home
defender.
to Fulham?
Arsenal defender, Brighton's defense.
Arsenal can get a clean sheet and the chance of a
return,
assist. Yeah, assist or goal.
Yeah,
Fulham.
Nice. Fulham is that bad.
Scoring goals. It's just got 3 against
Brentford.
They just beat Brentford. They put 2 past Liverpool, and the game in the
0-0 with Wolves. That's right. Yeah, 0-0 with Wolves.
And they should have won. Mitro missed the penalty.
Yeah. So Fulham actually creating chances, which is surprising.
Fulham aren't a hard fixture. Fulham aren't an easy fixture.
So that's what makes me think, do you take the attacker against Brighton and go, can we get a return? You go aggressive.
Yeah, no, actually, probably... Yeah, no,
I would always advocate to go the attacker over the defender because the ceiling is higher. I just feel there is a lot more of a chance of...
So my question is...
should
I put names to that question?
Yes.
There you go.
Harrison or Saliba?
Harrison because the output's better.
Harrison, yeah.
And that's where I'm leaning.
That goal.
I think if it's Aronson, no, you're playing Saliba. It's Harrison, yes. If it's Rodrigo, it's a maybe.
Yeah. I'm on the edge, and I'm Harrison at the moment. So I'm 3-5-2 with Harrison and St. Max. But anyway. All right, actual questions. So, Russ Bus. Should Haaland be dropped this week due to Pep's comments about rotation? Look, we've all wildcarded based on trying to get to De Bruyne.
I think he starts this week, but...
Not guaranteed. Moving forward.
He starts this week. I'll tell you, Ross, that he'll start this week. So if you can work... But then it's too hard to get him down to someone because you're leaving so much in the bank.
And you need 2
and
transfers.
Then down to Tony. You need 2 transfers to do it. So if you bank 2 transfers, Haaland down to Tony, and then...
That money anywhere else.
Yeah, literally anywhere else. If you got 2, keep him. If you just got the 1, you're going to shoot yourself in the foot.
Because I think people will captain him for Nottingham Forest, and then it's not going to surprise me if Alvarez starts the Forest fixture. So that's my worry, is that...
Villa fixture.
We looked at it... Well, it's not that. It's that we looked at him for Forest or Villa. Yeah, so it's not about fitness, Dim. It's not getting rotated for fitness. It's just rotated for the sake of rotating him because he's so injury-prone. That's the problem. So... Yeah, it's not a fitness, and the fitness of Alvarez is important too, and that's the thing. Like we've seen him drop Grealish, we've seen him not start Mahrez. What's that gonna mean? Haaland's not irreplaceable. It's a system, and players need to play because if players haven't played and have no match fitness, then they're gonna throw him on when he gets injured, and then Alvarez will get injured because he's not fit either. So that rotation's happening. If you're gonna pick one of them, the easiest thing to actually do is probably go sideways to Harry Kane.
Yeah.
If you've got one transfer.
Start every game.
Yeah.
Look, I feel like he's not going to get rotated this week.
Potential Wednesday, though, which is the worry because that's what we got him for.
Forest, even though he's the best captain if he starts, I think he's definitely out. The fact that Pep's even named that he was going to play Alvarez as a replacement, no better time than that. Forest is the rotation game.
At home.
Yeah. I feel that's Alvarez's moment. That's Pep saying him, this is your game, you're going to start at home, full debut, full first time, starting at home against a promoted side. Go show everyone what you got.
Nice midweek fixture after their 11's played already on the Saturday.
Yeah, go and run them up, son.
Yeah, I agree.
The only thing I will say to you there as well there, Rods, if you want to ride him for that and captain him for that, hope that City don't play well and he comes on at half-time.
Yeah.
But I don't see that happening.
Yeah, who knows?
I see it well with Forrest go Adam. I see it well with Neco Williams in that bomb on, and it's going to be a goal fest. But that's why we got De Bruyne.
Exactly. The more nailed option.
My question to you is, Paul, does he rest De Bruyne for that fixture?
No.
Nah.
I feel like you want to know who I think the most nailed Man City option is? It's Foden because he just plays him wherever.
No.
But I think De Bruyne starts.
De Bruyne's more nailed. He's so essential to how they play. All right, next up is JS. I'm not able to put the team up today because I didn't load up all the tabs because some of these came in as we're on. His question is a -4 for Perisic and Martinelli in, Robbo and Saka out with 3.7 in the bank. The team is Sanchez, Trent, Perisic, Cancelo, Dunk, Trippier, Rodrigo, Martinelli, De Bruyne, Salah, and Jesus with Andreas, Archer, Plange, and Iverson on the bench.
I'm going to see this. Is this in the FPL pod or the podcast?
In the podcast one. So it's -4 to get Perisic and Martinelli in. So he's obviously not started Martinelli. He's getting rid of Robertson and Saka.
He's had Saka the whole time.
I don't mind it.
And he's got 3.7 mil in the bank.
Yeah.
Wow.
You can start spending that money on the bench to start giving you some flexibility because there's nothing there.
I like it a lot because then you can move Archer next week with your 1 free transfer up to a Tony.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. I wouldn't take a -8 to get Tony in this week. I would take your -4, Tony in next week.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be taking -8.
Nah. I'm happy with that though, JS. That's solid.
I'm happy with -8 at the end of the season when you're chasing a heap of points. But yeah.
All right. Rods, 0.4 in the bank. Ramsdale, Trent, Robbo, James, Trippier, Salah, Rodrigo, Martinelli, Son, Tony, Jesus. So very similar to us, but with Son over De Bruyne, which gives you a little bit of extra coin to have Reece James in the team. He reckons James to Veltman or Dunk, or Son to Plange to Haaland and De Silva.
Son or Plange.
Son and Plange to Haaland and De Silva. Definitely wouldn't do that.
De Bruyne.
Yeah, Son to
Son's
De
got to become De
Bruyne.
Bruyne.
But the
I'm
issue
gonna
is
be
he's
a
not
bit-
making money there. I think he
I'm
needs to
going to be
make
a bit
money.
controversial.
Oh, you got
I'm gonna be a bit-
0.4.
Cat.
I'm going to be a bit controversial here, Rods. I feel like if you bid on Son this time, which I know you have to ride him for these next 3 fixtures.
Yeah.
You got Forest, you got Fulham, and I can't remember who's in the middle of them two, but it's not particularly great, the side.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the whole reason I was looking at Kane. I feel like if you've rode Son to now, you got to ride Son for it. He hasn't looked good on the eye
can
test. He's
explode,
been
though.
getting hoofed, but if there's ever a play that can just go and do it, it's him. And I think he'll be chomping at the bit. He'll be getting annoyed right now that he's getting hoofed off because he's not really putting the output there.
Yeah.
He's only got really 1 assist, I think, this year. So I feel like you ride it as it is.
And you got that
it
assist
allows you
against
to keep
Southampton.
James. Yeah.
Alrighty.
And you ride James. I think that's the way you would go.
All right. Dim, 2 mil in the bank, most likely upgrading next week. So what he's done is this week he's traded Cucurella and Podence out for Veltman and Xhaka. We haven't spoken about Veltman at all yet either. Right centre back can kind of do the opposite Reece James. More of a centre back who can play wing back, but
Yeah.
does
I like Veltman
bonus.
or
He's a
Dom.
bonus point machine, man. He's been picking them up. But anyway, his team is Melier, Trent, Cancelo, Trippier, Henry, Veltman, Xhaka, Martinelli, Salah, De Bruyne, Haaland. I am not a fan of Xhaka.
No.
I think the only reason you got
People
the
just see the
Xhaka is-
point
Yeah, it's
and just think about that.
It's just chasing the previous points. He's not
Don't be
someone
a
that
casual.
scores lots of goals. He doesn't get a lot of assists. I just think he's like
Casual
putting a
little
Jorginho
jumper.
in your team. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Jorginho will get 3 or 4 penalties a season. Xhaka will get 3 or 4 goals. He just, the role looks a little different, but do I think it's going to stay that way? Probably not.
How much is he? 5 mil?
I don't know.
I think he's 5 mil, memory.
It's 5 mil.
I'd rather-
I'd
I'd
rather
rather
Almiron at 5 mil though.
I was going to say, I'd rather punt Almiron until they're set up with Isaac and Wilson and co.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. Now, I think there's been one more question in the FPL chat. There is HC16, who is in the chat at the moment, has said, who's the better vice captain, Son or Salah? I don't think it matters.
I think if you're not captaining Salah this week, you're making a mistake.
All right, should we go through our friend's team here as well? Because there's some interesting talking points here. It's a 3-5-2. Allison in net, which I think is just a waste of a Liverpool spot. But anyway, Reece James, Gomez, and Zinchenko with Neto, who I just think needs to get binned. Salah, Martinelli, Son, Andreas, Haaland, and Jesus. What's your bench as well if Andreas is on your starting 11? Because you haven't shown me your bench.
Who's this for?
This is for HC16, who's in the chat. I would
haven't
just be
seen this
whacking
guy.
that C on Salah because he's been scoring without even playing well. So, and I think Fulham's a harder fixture than Bournemouth. So I'd be captaining
with that.
Salah over Jesus. But then I don't think it really matters who your vice captain's on, to be perfectly honest.
The weird side, you got Allison, who's taken up a lot of money, and then you've got Gomez.
All right, the bench is Neco Williams, Phil Jones, and Joe Gelhardt with Willie Caballero as the goalkeeper.
Big Cabba's.
With the nice Southampton kit there. But yeah, Neto needs to go. I think that's a big must.
Have you used your wild card yet, HC? That's my question.
Yeah, I'd be pulling it with that team. Dom?
Yeah, pull it.
Have you used your wild card? Have you done a good old game week 1 then game week 2 wild card? It feels
Do
like
it.
you're that type
No,
of player.
do the
Oh,
wild.
yeah.
Pull it.
We've all
Pull it.
done it.
We've all done it this week.
Only thing I'll say to you, HC, get Allison out of net because he's too much money. You get Sanchez and Rayner, they're going to get you the same amount of points. Get Gomez for a fullback that is decent. Get Trent on the side somehow. And then, get Ward instead of Caballero. Ward's actually about to go up in price as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then from there, make your changes as you see fit. I think you need to get the Jones and Gelhardt off, to be fair, as well. But, yeah.
Yeah.
Gelhardt does have a chance to play, I will say that, but I'd be going... Is Gelhardt 5 mil?
Nah, surely he's
He's
4-5.
4.5. If he's 4.5, I actually don't mind him sitting there. Though.
Surely he's 4-5. I can't see a world where he's more than that. He hasn't done anything.
I don't think about he should be 5, but I'm just making sure.
All right, for those that are still here in the chat, get your final questions in before we wrap up another wonderful episode of the FPL pod. Again, it's a huge week, and I think Tuesday again we'll have to do another episode, but it's going to be a very quick turnaround with our obviously match week
Games
of
Wednesday morning.
Wednesday and Thursday morning. Gerhard is 5-4. Get him out.
Might be a Tuesday pod.
It'll have to be
Yeah,
Tuesday.
but
There's no other choice.
Only problem is we're going to do the pod after the deadline's finished. That's the problem.
After what deadline?
Isn't there because it's Games Wednesday? Actually,
No, the deadline's like an hour before kickoff.
Yeah,
It's
never
gotta be
mind.
like
Wednesday morning. That's fine.
3
Works
a.m.
out well.
Wednesday or something.
Yeah. So Gerhard at 5-4, I'd be getting rid of him. So HC, just pull the trigger. Pull the trigger. Use ours as a bit of a base. They're a little bit different. Well, Dom and Damo, not really, but Damo, we know his team won't stay the same.
I've made changes. I've already
Dom's
made
probably
changes.
settled, and I think I'm actually settled on the 3-5-2 at the moment with St. Max in there.
I'm on the 3-5-2 with St. Max with you.
Oh, he's just gone from Dom to me.
You put me into it.
Of course he has. Now Damo's sent his final team. Let's have one quick look at it before we leave.
And then Trippier to Emerson Rowe on 3 game weeks.
Before we enjoy this weekend of stress.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back to Discord. Let's share the screen one more time for the viewers watching on YouTube. Here we go. We're on
7.5 mil for you, Dim, as he asked what he thinks Isaac Price is going to be.
Wait, is that my team? No. Oh my! Have you just copied my team?
And don't think I've been playing around with my squad.
You have just completely copied my team.
Well, then there you go.
You have completely just copied my whole team.
I'll make a change for you. I'll make a change. Let me find a change. I've got my change. Never mind. I've got my change, all right? I've got my change. I'll make a change just for you.
Oh my god. What's the change?
On my phone. Good question.
Don't just make one for the sake of making it.
I'm gonna make one for the sake of making one.
Don't do it right now.
Oh my god! All right, we said
Saliba to Neco Williams, and then
You're not doing that.
4 mil, and then I can put money from Harrison to Rodrigo.
Oh my god!
I didn't make a change.
Anyway, prediction for Isaac's. It looks good because I'm happy with it. Isaac's price, I think he's 7.5 to 8. I think if Jesus, Tony, if those guys are there, I think that's where he lies. I think he has to be more. He has to be more than Skamaka, who came in at 7. If Bamford's at 7.5, I'm leaning to 8. Really,
yeah, 7.5.
7.5 at the lower point and 8 at the higher point.
It's got to be it.
All right, so
I've made my change.
Yeah, all right, Damo.
Trippier, Emerson Rowe to Trippier.
That'll change 10 times.
Oh, all right. Well, that's it for another episode of the FPL show. Thanks for hanging out with us and listening again. Check out the links in the description, whether you're watching the video or you are listening along to the podcast. We will see you on a short turnaround for game week 5 midweek fun, and we'll catch you all then. See you later.
Good luck for the weekend, boys.